Welcome to Blockchain Basement. On today's episode, we're going to talk about who has the most gold, what is the purpose and the point of crypto, and what are we going to do when we're all rich? All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. Bum, 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 bum. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're going to screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're going to get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we...
All right, welcome into the basement. We're going to have a really good episode for you guys today. We have a very special guest live in studio with us, the one and only Crypto Wendy O. Going to be dropping that crypto knowledge on you guys. As always, we've got the lovely Hannah Hughes, Drew, the Druth, Crypto Prepper, Biscuit Jesus on the board with the long flowing locks. And of course, all of you guys, the greatest chat in all of crypto. We've got Dude, What Does Mine Say, Manawak, Corey Harden, Puin78 Div, Joe Stonkman, Urkelson, Crypto Biker, Ariel Ariel Marie, Crimson Caravan Company. We've got Trevor Zook, Solar Mining in Spain, Crypto Shark, Gary's Guzzler, Justin Eubanks, Bubba's Crypto, Captain Daddy, Solar Miners. Oh, I already said that one. And Mike Vollmer with the special heart for Crypto Wendy O. We were talking, Ben and I were talking about this the other day. Wendy, actually one of the oldest friends, one of the longest people I've known in crypto in real life. I don't know if you even know this. You know, I met both you and Ben in person in real life on the same day.
When was that?
It was a meetup in LA. That was the reason, like, it was your meetup. Yeah, it was you. I mean, it was a Satoshi Dropper specific meetup, I think, because it was you and Stash. Brecky was there. Andy. Who else was there? There was a small group of people. Ben was coming out there and needed a ride. So I had chatted with all you guys online a little bit, but never met everybody all in person until that night. So Wendy's out here visiting. They're shooting, Ben and her doing a new special podcast, Frenemies. So if you want to just tell them a little bit obviously they know, they can find you on YouTube, Crypto Wendy O, but tell them a little bit who you are, what you're about, maybe a little bit about Frenemies.
So I'm just a mom that likes to talk about crypto. It's so crazy to see my face on the screen over there.
Yeah.
No, but I have my own YouTube channel. I talk about crypto. I do TikTok, Instagram. And I just like to help educate people that grew up how I grew up, with nothing to help accomplish their goals and dreams based on your wants and needs, and critically think and do things for yourself. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. But yeah, cryptowendo.com. And I like being down in the basement.
Yeah, there you go. Everything's more fun in the basement. It's a little bit more chill. And it's Taco Tuesday. You're special, you're special. We should have had tacos today.
No, but I really want barbecue.
Yeah, that's right.
You can get barbecue tacos.
Ooh. Okay, fine.
That is true. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. We didn't think ahead. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to talk crypto, I guess. All right, real quick, we'll do a quick check-in on the market.
You mean taco crypto?
Talk about it. Yeah, let's go. 28,148 Bitcoin price. We got Ethereum coming in, pushing 1870. We noticed on this morning stream, finally ticking up into the 19% dominance. And this is something, let me ask you, this is something Ben asked me on this morning, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. For when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, do we think we'll still continue to see it tick up through these next, say, 9 months or so in the market leading into the halving, or do we think we've seen most of its growth so far? So we're at 46% Bitcoin dominance, 19% Ethereum dominance. In the past, we've seen it go as high as 55%. Let me ask you this. Do you think we can get to 50% in the next year or so, Wendy?
I think, yes, considering all of the crypto contagion, and we're also seeing a lot of people, especially with the U.S. banking collapse or banking failure. And again, you guys, it is a banking failure. It is not a crypto failure. Crypto has literally nothing to do with all this. I think people are going to be looking for more different types of assets to kind of put money into, because we're starting to see the traditional system kind of isn't working. So I could see an uptick in Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm already seeing it in my day-to-day, like people asking, we get it in here all the time. People were talking about it this morning. What do you do to defend against hyperinflation, defend against a banking failure? And like you said, it's not a crypto collapse, it's not a crypto failure, it's the traditional banking system. It's fractional reserve banking, or as somebody called it, fictional reserve banking. It's the system they've built. It's working exactly as it's intended, and it's worked well for them up until this point, but it does not work well for the everyday person or people that are trying to make a difference in their life, make a change for their life. I like that what you said there about wanting to get involved with this to help people with a similar background as you or similar understanding have the same opportunities and create opportunities for themselves. That was something that John from Shapeshift, great account, tweeted out. He said, crypto, and this is something it's easy to lose sight of when we're talking about pumps. We're talking about meme coins. You hear about people getting rich overnight. Dogecoin pumped yesterday. Everybody's freaking out. You're always at the top of every market. You're going to hear about these meme coin millionaires. But at the end of the day, let's not forget, crypto was not created as a money-making mechanism. It's a gift to the world. Its gift to the world is allowing for more freedom and transparent economic rails, allowing people to hold their assets directly with self-custody and interact with the system without any permission. Let us not forget that, which is almost exactly what you were saying. It gives you a chance to choose where you put your assets and take control for yourself, rather than basically being at the will of a government or a dictator or a commune or whatever that might be. It's much more, what we're doing here with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is much more important than, hey, let's buy a nice car or let's buy a nice house. This really is human rights movement for the entire planet, for the entire world. We're insulated from it a lot here in the United States. Not 100%. We see some stuff, but compared to most of the rest of the world, we're very insulated from this inflation problem. And I think we're going to get into some of those stories a little bit later. But Drew, I wanted to hear, do you think we're going to hit that dominance number, that 50%? What do you think on that?
I definitely do.
You do?
I definitely do. I'm kind of, the capital control side of the potential for this banking collapse, like Wendy hit the nail on the head. The banking collapse has really started that conversation with a lot of larger money holders. And, if we see additional to the banking collapse, we see capital controls come into play. I definitely think that 55% is in the books, but as the news sits and the information sits right now, 50% is kind of what I'm targeting for the dominance of Bitcoin, and then pull back in Ethereum, altcoins and everything like that to run from there. So,
do we think Ethereum is going to hold pace with Bitcoin, or lose ground against Bitcoin? It's been losing ground so far. It's started to make up some recently.
I think it's going to lose just a little bit of ground, but I don't think it'll give up anything more than 17, maybe 16%. Yeah, so I don't think that it's going to drop too drastically from where it's at, but it will have a little bit of room for Bitcoin to kind of come to the front of the conversation before the real bull market happens. We see the ETH underlying coins pop off, and then everyone will come in when it's too late. So that's kind of what I'm watching.
Perfect. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think we're going to see Bitcoin and Ethereum do extremely well over this next part of the cycle, and then after the halving, when we start getting into real bull market type territory, seeing alts start to perform well. And I say it time and time again. It's hard not to not go too hard on alts on this part of the cycle. I know I learned a lot of doing that in 2019 of like buying and then your alts bleeding against Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, man, if I just bought more Bitcoin or more Ethereum, now is the time I wish I had that dry powder. So for me, I'm heavy Bitcoin, Ethereum right now. Still will take some shots on some micro cap alts or some low cap alts, but nothing close to the value I'm putting into Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yep.
Okay, real quick on that note about what's going on in the rest of the world. This just happened. I want to say, when was this? Over the weekend. This is the yesterday, I guess, April 3rd. IMF bails out Sri Lanka with $3 billion in exchange for surety measures. That's 395% of the country's quota. The elites get a
or roughly 3% of what's in FDIC.
Yeah, exactly. That's a scary thing right there. But the elites get a subsidy while the average citizen must tighten their belts and prepare for their descendants to foot the bill, principal and interest. And this is exactly what's going on all around the world, whether it's the central bank, whether it's the IMF, International Monetary Fund. If you guys don't know what that stands for, you've got the Bank of International Settlements. You've got these giant global operations that are just slowly centralizing all of the assets into their control and then making loans based on them and bailing people out when they get themselves in these situations. This is not much different than the situation the United States is in. It's just on a much, much, much smaller scale. So they will allow things to fail in certain scenarios. But this is the problem with continuing on this trend. If we continue to do this, all we do is make it tougher and tougher and tougher on the next generation, whether it's our kids, our grandkids. If you don't have kids, you probably have nieces and nephews. Somebody younger than you in your life that you care about in some capacity will be paying the price for the fiscal irresponsibility of our current generation.
Did you saw they admitted that its Social Security is going to run out by 2033, I think is what.
Is it really? Yeah,
everyone thought I was nuts for saying that 10 years ago. Like they were like, you're just out of your mind. There's no way that they're going to run out of money for us and we're going to be fine. Keep paying the taxes and seeing that big chunk out of your paycheck go. And I'm like, this is never going to be here for me when I'm ready to use it. So that's why I moved out of the system in general, and like,
basement will be there for you.
Yeah, that's right, man. And the IMF, like they're cooked into those loans. That's the basket of money that the Fed and the U.S. government had to move into in an emergency response to save the banking sector. That BTFPS or whatever program that they released in their third mechanism for quantitative easing is basically an emergency use basket of funds for international money. So seeing them dumping more into Sri Lanka after their failed government collapse, after their ESG score hit 99% or whatever it was, or 100 because they were being good little people and not farming and not doing the things that keep them alive. The government collapses. They have to keep injecting all of this money out of the IMF and it's going to run out. There's not enough to go around. So have fun.
The truth is out there. I love it. Well, let me ask Wendy while you're here. Can you help? Because we have a pretty wide range of people here. A lot of people pretty well experienced in the basement. You know, DGen doing bridging over to different chains, doing swaps on several different dexes. But then we've also got a lot of people that are completely brand new. You know, they're just starting to hear. Maybe just came into this because of this banking crash. And they're starting to like ask questions for the first time. So, can you explain? What is it about Bitcoin that helps solve this problem that we're talking about? When we're seeing runaway inflation, when we're seeing spending in debt like crazy, why is it that you and me and BJ and Drew and all these people here, Hannah, what is it about Bitcoin that gives people a choice and an option? Somebody in our chat earlier said, you know, giving you a choice to leave fictional reserve banking.
So the reason why I like Bitcoin is that nobody tells me what to do with my Bitcoin. There's no third party that's like, okay, you have to take this money and put it there. Like when we talk about banks, let's face it, when you go to a bank, well, actually, you're a business owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do any type of business in the US, what do you have to do? Where's your first step? What do you need?
You have to have a bank account.
You have to have a bank account.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, too, like with Bitcoin, you don't necessarily need a bank account, which that's a thing that I like. Another thing about it is the market is actually determining what happens with price. Like the market determines how much it's valued instead of having these old expired geriatrics tell us what the value of the US dollar is or how much money we need to print or what interest rates are. We don't have that. We have an entire marketplace that decides what happens with Bitcoin. So I think that that's always a great place for people to start when they're, you know, thinking about crypto and whatnot. Obviously, like read Satoshi's white paper. You don't understand what it means, then you can go ahead and, you know, Google up those words, which is important. But I don't like being told what to do. And I also like being able to have access to my own money when I want it. I was going to go to, well, I'm born and raised LA. I was going down to Outer Edge, LA, and I wanted to get an Airbnb close to the venue because I live like 20 miles outside of LA. And I wanted to get something that was really, really close. So I was going to go stay with one of my girlfriends, and I needed to Zelle her $650 for the Airbnb. Okay, great, fine. So I added her. It looked all good on the bank. And then when I tried to send her money, it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me send her cash. I'm like, this is my money. Like I have X amount of dollars in there. I think that, you know, there shouldn't have been a problem with it. And I called the bank to figure out what happened. They're like, well, we can read you a prompt with 3 reasons why it didn't go through, but you can send a wire. And you know, a wire is like $15 to $30.
Yeah.
And why would I spend an extra $30 to $15 when
it's your money? You
when
should
I
be
can
able to
send it?
Yeah.
So the situation, I spent 2 hours on the phone trying to get this thing sorted. Situation was rectified because I just sent her Ethereum.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
Boom. When you get rid of the intermediary, it gets a lot easier.
And it settles instantly like that.
There you go. Well, and yeah, and that's not only are there opportunities with those day-to-day things. I mean, there's thousands of those kind of examples of where you're trying to do something with your money and somebody else is telling you can't for arbitrary reasons that either you don't understand or agree to, or you didn't sign up for, you didn't make that agreement with whoever's trying to tell you, no, you can't do that with your own money. So, you know, control, obviously huge factor, and freedom, like the freedom to complete the transaction you want to complete without somebody else saying, yes, you're allowed to do that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you able, how hard is it to get a business loan?
Business loans?
Yeah, how hard is it to get a business loan in the United States of America, home of the free, land of the brave?
Yeah.
Is that how they say it? How hard is it?
It's very difficult.
Okay, so how hard is it to get a loan on DeFi?
Very quick, very easy, very simple. Yeah, there you go. With DeFi, that's my other favorite thing is when all these collapses happened. When you see, I mean, the other example is look at what's going on with FTX and Celsius, and you know all the creditors and getting all that money back in, which settled first. All the decentralized trades and futures and positions, all of those closed out and got settled pretty much instantaneously within hours, if not days. Where this is going on for weeks, months, probably years in some situations with some of this stuff with FTX. So yeah, there's a lot of plus sides there on that one. Where are you going, Drew? Oh, you're gonna push that button. So
No.
all right. Let's see. We had. Can you scroll back up on the bit? Whoa, good catch on the
We're
basement
breaking
chat.
stuff in here.
Yeah, there's stuff falling all over the place.
On the basement.
Yeah, over there. There was something somebody said that they had a question that I was gonna grab, but I missed it. That's all right. We'll come back to it. So because I want to talk about gold and if that really matters, because we got all these people. Everybody's ditching the dollar, right? India ditches the dollar, going to trade in rupees with multiple different countries going forward. World's largest countries teaming up against the U.S. dollar, and the White House is busy with. Oh, I didn't realize this was going about.
Well, though you don't have to say it.
Yeah. Basically, White House is distracted with all kinds of other stuff, and the dominance of the dollar is absolutely getting crushed. Now we've got this one, when people talking about BRICS, and this, I want to get some updated numbers on this because I haven't seen anything recently.
2019.
I love gold. I love that. Anytime people talk about gold, that comes back in my head. Have you seen Austin Powers, Hannah? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes you never know what's before your time and what's not. So I was bragging about you and Decker the other day about how much more mature and intellectual you guys are than your average 21-year-old. Like both Hannah and Decker both just turned 21 just last week, a couple weeks ago.
I just turned 22.
22. I'm sorry.
22.
Yeah, 22. They
Decker's
both just
been buying
turned from
us beer
21
for
to
a year.
22.
Same thing.
But
Are they your children?
no, they're
Yes.
not my children, but I'm very proud. It feels that way sometimes. I'm like you guys are so much smarter than your average 21, 22-year-old that I talk to that just, I'm not going to get started on that. I already feel like an old person.
Say that
but
to me.
Well, thank you.
yeah, you guys, man, it's more. I like this Braves jacket, but it's hot in here. Yeah. But okay, so here we go. We've got the United States, way, way, way more gold than any of these other countries here. Even basically this saying, if the BRICS comes out with their own gold-backed currency, the U.S. should just dump their reserves and buy Bitcoin. This would devalue BRICS currency while driving up USD. USD would become correlated with Bitcoin's price, just like MicroStrategy stock. It's similar to the question somebody asked the other day of like, well, if the United States is losing the dollar dominance, why don't they just print a bunch and buy a bunch of Bitcoin and then they own all the Bitcoin? And it's not.
I definitely do want an update. Like we talked about this yesterday, because that's from 2019.
Yeah.
This
and
chart
China
here.
and Russia have been buying the living, what, out of gold.
Let's see. Sovereign.
Well, also, China has played 4D chess with us. They have played 4D chess with us. They keep banning Bitcoin and crypto. But in reality, it's not really banned. It kind of is, but it isn't. But China owns a lot of Bitcoin. I think they own more than the U.S. And we know the U.S. owns a lot because they confiscated from SR.
Right.
Yep.
They just won't. China doesn't do. We know what the United States has because of the confiscations, but China doesn't necessarily disclose everything that they're holding.
Yeah.
So this updated.
I don't know. Give me a second to look. Yeah, it looks like.
But how accurate are those numbers?
This says 2023.
This is 2023,
which at least is 4 years more updated.
So 10 countries with the largest gold reserves in tons. Now, the argument would be behind this would be nobody, just like they say nobody audits Tether, nobody's audited Fort Knox in quite some time.
That's what I wanted to say is like, we can have all the data we want that's fed to us through Google. But like, as you guys and Wendy said, like a lot of what China does is in the dark.
Right.
The CCP does not disclose these things to the mainstream public. They don't even make information accessible, fully accessible to their own population. Not to mention the U.S., we pulled away from the gold standard. There's been no audits on Fort Knox, like you said. And beyond that, like there are things that, we've been doing in space as far as our technologies competing with China. And so this whole tug of war I've been talking about for a while, but it basically feels like it's going to be a technological and financial arbitrage. Hopefully they keep it that way and it doesn't get into a physical confrontation. But yeah, they're basically trying to undermine us. They feel like it's their turn to sit at the table at the top of the G7. And it's going to get ugly. Hopefully we can keep it as peaceful as possible.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this whole thing. I don't know if they're going to get a seat at the top of the table, but at least a seat at the table. That's what I think is going to happen more. I think it's going to get at least a more even distribution of power between the United States being so heavy-handed, if that makes sense. Because I do think and that's what I keep telling people when we're talking about the collapse or the U.S. dollar losing its dominance or its power. I don't think it's going to be as dire as what a lot of people are anticipating, where it just goes from like, oh, we're the biggest number one superpower for years and years and years to like poverty overnight. And all of a sudden everybody else is in such a great position. I think it's going to be much more like we're just on the same playing field as a lot of the other nations around the world. And we don't have that competitive advantage that we once did. Now, will we know how to operate without that competitive advantage? I don't know.
That's likely, the question.
Yeah, most likely not.
Are we going to behave?
Yeah.
How could we at this point? Like, we don't produce a lot of things in the U.S.
Exactly.
And that's a scary part, too. And the items that we do produce in the U.S., they're very, very expensive because we actually have some sort of laws and regulations that determine,
Yep.
you know, basic human rights, supposedly.
Right.
But at the same time,
Lol.
Or their version of basic human
Yeah.
rights.
please. But it's kind of a little bit scary. Like when you really think about it, it's like, what does the U.S. have to offer?
Right.
War.
Would you say war is
Hollywood?
Oh,
That's
gosh.
what we have to
Yeah,
offer.
I know,
is it
unfortunately,
good
up
for?
up
Absolutely
Wars? Yeah,
nothing.
Exactly.
Up until this point, only thing we have really had to offer was our dollar and our consumption.
Yeah.
Like basically, we buy a lot of stuff and we provide the reserve currency. So if you take away the one that we're used to the most, it's a great question. We have to start producing things here in the United States again, having some kind of positive economic trade outside of our main export being the US dollar.
We do produce things here. We educate some of the smartest people in the scientific and STEM
And then
world.
send them
Then
back.
we ban them from doing it here and then send them out.
Yeah, that's what's sad is like we have an opportunity to be the leading nation in one of the fastest growing emerging industries in existence right now in blockchain, crypto, Web3, and we're pushing it all away. We're pushing it out to BJ's point. We're trying to say, no, great innovation. Thanks for creating that $1 trillion asset class and creating a lot of jobs and economic inclusion. Now we want you to go do it elsewhere, please. And it's just
Like at least early in 2004 when they started banning therapeutic cloning and somatic cell nuclear transferases, a lot of that tech started going to like Singapore. And so a lot of like the biotech, a lot of the CRISPR stuff is moving over there. So it's like, wow, we're entering the transhumanistic era. We can do personalized medicine. No. We don't want that here.
Well, why would we
Like-
want to do personalized medicine when our RX companies make assurances? Because I worked in healthcare, infectious disease, HIV/AIDS for 7 years. Why would we do that when we can make a lot more money this way? And fun fact, if you don't know, Medi-Cal Medicaid covers brand name prescription medications. They don't necessarily cover generic. You have to put through a prior authorization or
Really?
do a TAR. Yeah, you have to, and it takes a long time. Most doctors' offices and pharmacies won't do it because it takes too much time, and we were already drowned with paperwork.
Jeez.
Yeah, and this is 100% true. I did it for 7 years.
It's, well, yeah, I'll go on this tangent for like 2 seconds longer, but yeah, it's the death of medicine has happened. Like that's why you see a lot of these doctors becoming alcoholics, depression, killing themselves because, I can't take care of my patients anymore because of this bureaucratic BS.
Well, it's because of the paperwork. It makes it hard. For example, I tried to get my daughter a prescription for her eye that she takes all the time. I still have not heard from the doctor. It's been 2 days. And I had to go outside of my insurance company, out of pocket, pay $100, which is totally fine. God, thank goodness I have the funds to do it. But I still haven't, like the insurance company that we pay to get our health care from, that we pay thousands and thousands of dollars for a year, wouldn't even approve my daughter's amoxicillin antibiotic. Like this is amoxicillin.
Yeah.
Very
Amoxicillin.
basic. Very basic. Yeah. This is insurance is a scam in case you guys haven't figured that one out.
Everybody,
It's
raise
painful.
their hand if you remember how delicious amoxicillin used to be. Pink
Yeah.
stuff?
I do.
Oh,
Oh, so good.
It was good.
I'm not
The
raising my
mystery
hand for that.
flavor?
I'm
I still
sorry.
don't know what the flavor was.
It was yum yum in your tum tum, BJ.
It
My
was.
mom used to be like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let me just kill
Bubble
your
gum.
gut biome. I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
All right. Yeah. So just real quick to finish up on the gold stuff, it does look like the United States has the largest gold reserves in the world. And again, this is according to, I don't know who's verifying all this stuff.
Yeah.
But a little over 8,000 tons, more than Germany and Italy combined, which is 2 and 3. U.S. also has the highest gold allocation as a percentage of its foreign reserves at approximately 76%. The majority of U.S. gold is held at Fort Knox. Many central banks turned from being net sellers to net buyers in 2010. Interesting timing. Russia has been the largest purchaser of gold for the last 7 years, purchasing. So here, let me ask you guys this. This is another. So we know 2008, 2009, that was the last financial collapse, more or less, is when a lot of the banks were blowing up. That's when they invented quantitative easing, right? And they've been basically printing ever since then. Ever since 2010, they've been more or less printing fiat
I mean,
and buying gold with it.
yeah.
And so everyone's like, well, why don't they just print a bunch of dollars and buy gold? Well, sounds like they've been doing that for the last 13 years, and maybe they've been preparing for this the entire time.
Oh, but I thought the U.S. government is super transparent. But the great thing about it is with like blockchain, we can
Right.
like kind of like track this on the
We
blockchain.
can actually know. Wait a
And
minute.
like when a DeFi protocol gets exploited, and let's not forget, in America, the banks I think the banks, since in the last 4 years, paid $340 billion in fines.
Yeah.
It was either the last 8 years. We don't know when this is happening, ever.
It's all retroactive. They tell us after the fact.
But literally in crypto, if there's an exploit or something happens or somebody gets whatever that is, you see it on chain.
Yep. And there'll be people talking about it on Twitter about
And
30
Twitter,
seconds
because
later.
they meme them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all right there. It's all out in the open. And to her point, like when the major banks or the major nations of the world started to make these shifts and these adjustments, it would allow the regular person to do it too, instead of being caught like, oh, wait a minute, we're 13 years late to this party, and you guys have been running away with this inflation this entire time, taking 6, 7, 8, 10, 15% every year away from my purchasing power, while I'm still just running as fast as I can trying to keep up. You guys are just printing this thing and taking all this money. And so, yeah, I think it has been happening for quite some time for people that think like, well, why doesn't the government just do that? They have been. They know that when every government out there that prints their own currency, they understand supply and demand. They know when they print more, the buying power goes down. So they're always trying to balance that. How can I come up with a reason to print more that isn't going to kill my purchasing power, isn't going to kill my dollar or my currency against the other basket of currencies, whether it's euro or yen or yuan or any of that sort of stuff? How can I do that balancing act? Well, I can need to create demand over here. Okay, great. Now I have a reason to create more supply. And if I can do it slow enough to where people don't understand what's happening, it's just a slow erosion, which is what we've had in the United States. Really for the last probably 50 to 80 years, you could say maybe 50 to 70 years.
It's not the type of slow grind that you want.
No, it's the wrong kind. Definitely not the kind of slow grind you're looking for.
Are you going to slow grind yourself to get me tacos later, BJ?
+1 in the chat, and I'll answer that.
He's done more for less. We'll say that.
Hey, $20 is $20.
$20 is $20.
Or 20 Sudoku.
116 to ride home?
Oh my God.
Oh.
BJ, you're making him uncomfortable.
I
That's
got a
hard to
story
do.
about that. I'll tell you later, BJ. It's not me. It's not me.
Okay, so we got Benjamin Cowan here saying that, showing the probabilities here for the Fed, the markets. The markets think the Fed will cut interest rates starting in July. So we know we have a meeting in May. Do they have one in June? Let's see.
That's a pretty early call for cutting rates.
I tend to agree.
You think that they're going to reverse course within 2 or 3 months? I mean,
a lot of people tend to be calling for it. So you're leery on that.
Yeah, I mean, like I'd figured they'd wait to cut rates until it's a fresh, exciting new topic right as political ads start.
Well, you guys remember what's coming up? What is it in 2 years? What is that thing that's happening? Is it 2 year or a year?
What, the election?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ads start at the end of this year, and then the real election is, it's going to be at the end of next year. So
you're saying you think they'll wait to start cutting until very close to that?
Yeah, it's got to be new, fresh, like exciting news for everyone to be like, oh, okay, everything's going in the right direction. Maybe we'll vote the same way this time, and things will be different, which is the definition of insanity.
Again. I interrupt a lot because I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, do it.
Again.
Yeah.
The age to legally retire and to remove your socials or to start receiving 100% of your social security, and I believe to not get penalized with your 401ks, your IRAs, or any of your TradFi scam investments is, I believe it's 67. If you are in public office after 67, and that's me being generous, you are expired, and you are an expired geriatric, and you need to go.
Time to go. Your date, your long past, your shelf life is expired.
It's such a sad number.
Yeah.
67 is like the time where they'll allow you to get some money back that you've been bleeding your whole life in giving to them.
There's not gonna be anything left.
Your
the
knees
Social
are
Security's
not
gone.
good. Yeah, it's
gone.
Yeah, it's
gone.
Sad.
It's way gone.
Oh, somebody in the chat said Wendy 401k is 59.5. Okay. Thank you for correcting, but I believe the reason why the reason why I assumed it was 67. I was just trying to be. 67 is generous. That's what I said.
Yeah,
generous.
That's the max Social Security split stuff you can.
Maybe it might be.
Bottom line is, if they're saying that's the age regular people need to retire, we need to get the politicians out.
That's
of there
a moving target when you can retire, as we see in France.
Yeah, that's what they changed that, right? They moved it back 2
yeah,
years.
That's
or
what.
years.
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying. Everyone's out there for. They're really out there for an overscoping political discourse. But the latest thing is pushing pensions back.
So when did you say political ads start, Drew? Because I want us to make a guess on when we think they'll start
they come
cutting.
up September or October this year is when they'll be getting them.
Do you remember?
Okay, because we've got Fed meetings in May, June, July, September, October/November, and December. So we've got a handful, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left for the year.
Yeah, I'd be looking at October, November meeting.
Now, So you're thinking right here they could potentially cut or pivot.
Yeah.
So you do think a pivot within this year is
Yeah, I mean, that's what
likely,
I would do.
plausible?
If I was behind the levers of this messed up situation and I was thinking in that regard, that's what I would do, is wait for it to be hot, fresh news and make everyone feel good right as their blue and red advertisements hit the internet so they can choose a new way and think that they're doing something.
Well, the good thing is mainstream media, MSM, people are not really watching that anymore. They're not really listening to that. They're going to platforms like this, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and whatnot. That's another reason why I think they want to really start a lot of these words on a lot of these platforms, is because people like us are voicing our opinions and openly talking about these things. And then you guys, the audience, y'all are able to fact check us and go do your due diligence and then come up with an idea that makes sense for yourself. And
dangerous.
Before that, everybody, like when there's TVs, as we only had like TVs and newspaper, you would get whatever information was there. And then maybe like a family friend that was in another country or a family member in like another state would call you and say, oh my God, did you hear about this? And that was the way information would travel. But now it's instantaneously, and they don't want that.
Yeah, 100%. They're losing control of the mainstream media.
It was fun to watch during the bank collapse. The information, they're like,
they're
stop talking about
reel
it.
it back in. Like, no, guys, no, the banks are fine. Which we do have an article here showing kind of where a lot of that money went. BJ, would you have any thoughts on the rate cuts, or Hannah?
I mean, I think the pivot is similar to what the smart guy over there was saying, that it's like at some point you have to shift narratives so that you can get votes. Then you can blame it on the other party, even though it's a single party system. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, because Powell so far has said they have no plans to cut this year. Now that doesn't mean, that might mean they stop
you
raising.
also said the economy was fine.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. They've said all sorts of stuff. But I have been watching Jerome Powell. He has been fairly consistent with what he said when he said, like, look, this is where we're trying to raise it to. Everybody was yelling and screaming for him not to do a raise at this last meeting. You know, 0.25 made sense to me. I'll be the more interesting thing to me, because I don't think they will cut, definitely not as early as July. Your theory does make pretty good sense, Drew, that they could cut October, November. What's interesting to me is how long do they hold or maintain? You know, I don't think they'll raise anymore for these next few meetings, but they might do one more. Who knows? But yeah, that's a tough one. But I think most likely they don't cut this year, and then they either do it late this year, maybe December, or first thing going into 2024. Man, I hate politics so much. I'm not looking forward to 2024.
I just look at them for the ebb and flow of economy and stuff. And
I know, but it's like there's so much more important things happening in our country, I feel like, that we should be focusing on, like, you know, our kids' education, like their future, because they're going to be the ones making the decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that we have good, like, quality food here, which we 100% can have.
You can garden.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm actually have a little place in my outside that I'm going to try to garden stuff.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
I'm very bad at those things because I'm not good at that.
I'm terrible at it too. Don't worry.
Green thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put it in the ground, give it water, maybe some rhizobium. Another fun thing you can do is put ginger around them, because they have the mycorrhizals. I'm sorry, the rhizobium that fix nitrogen and everything else. So good for your soil.
There you go.
Good for your soil.
Hell yeah. What are you doing after the basement?
I thought you guys were getting tacos.
I really would like to get barbecue.
Oh, you probably should head up pretty soon. It is 1:59.
Oh.
Damn.
But we're gonna keep going.
Do I have to go? No,
You don't have to.
No.
I'm just letting you. I'm just trying to help. You know, like if you're gonna start recording at 2 upstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
But guys, say hello or goodbye, I guess, to Wendy. Say something nice. Don't say anything mean.
You guys
We
can
love
say
Wendy.
mean stuff, because when you say mean stuff, all that it does is it continues to boost my analytics. And that's the funniest thing ever, is because
It's so true.
I get money from YouTube by views.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you guys troll me, then I get more money.
Yep.
Got
People
him.
gotta look what
And
you're
then
trolling.
then I get to go buy BJ some delicious tacos.
Ham
Do you have
burger.
any outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum? Do you have any coins you're on your hot list right now?
I am looking at a lot of the layer 2 solutions, some of the new layer 1s. Any coin that you could think that you might potentially be able to get an airdrop with, that would be something to pay attention to. I still do like to focus on the metaverse, the GameFi stuff, because I think gaming is going to be big. However, those carry extreme risk because all of this stuff is in beta, and even the layer 1s, even the new layer 1s that are popping up in the layer 2 solutions, again, they're still in beta. So if you're somebody who's looking to maybe, you know, experiment with these, have fun, do well with them, but make sure you have a trading and investing plan, even if it's like $100 or $50 investment, because you don't want to keep getting being hit, all that stuff, and lose money. The name of the game is making money as ethically as possible.
Yeah.
And doing well to improve your quality of life, but just do good. But
So I just saw somebody in YouTube, DC's hairline.
Yeah, there's some really good names in this chat. DZ's hairline. Yeah, there's some really. He leaves some funny comments too. He left. I responded to one this morning that was such a bizarre comment. I couldn't figure out.
Well, he's usually
at all.
receding behind the live stream quite a bit.
yeah.
There's
Okay.
TJ's
Well, yeah.
chicken
Thank you
salad
so much
usually.
for joining us, Wendy.
Yes.
If you guys already know, check out Crypto Wendy O, the O Show on YouTube. Get all your Crypto Wendy O fix. So,
right.
and also we have 420 people or 427 actually watching right now. You guys know the magic number for likes is 420. So if everybody stops and hits that like button, we'll get that 420 magic like button.
We
and,
have ice cream party.
Well, maybe we get more
Ice
special
cream.
guests like Wendy.
No,
in the future. So,
I want an ice cream party.
she might be back.
See ya.
This might not be a one-time thing, guys. You
That was
never know.
huge.
So, that was fun. We love Wendy. Like I said, been talking crypto and friends with her and on this whole crypto journey for quite some time. It's always fun hanging out with people. Like we were all just like you guys at one point. Just like, man, trying to figure out this crypto stuff, and you get
100%.
a whole group of people trying to figure it out together, and some of us did.
I really liked what she said about all the distractions. I mean, obviously, we have a major political distraction happening right now in New York. And while everyone is fighting this inflationary pressure, I talked to my uncle yesterday, and he's just getting crushed by the cost of buying food down in Texas and all these different things that he's having to pay for. And, while everyone's sitting here wrapped up in this political circus that's going on, like their buying power and their ability to stack food and to feed themselves and to have housing is changing really quickly. And we need to step away from that, kind of echo chamber or that vacuum of concentration on things that are outside of our control, and really take this time while everything's in flux to put our hands around our future and control it with our own sovereign money. This is the time to do it. So
Boom.
Mhm.
Preach. Look at that.
I liked what she said. She was great.
Wendy looks different.
Yeah, I
Wendy,
know. She
Wendy has
changed.
changed.
She very much changed on me here.
Oh, dude. We just lost all of our viewers.
Yeah,
Got that hot sauce.
What happened? Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, I was just kidding.
No, so I got a couple things here because this is just some metrics that I was curious about. Like we heard about a bank run, we heard about a lot of money leaving, but here, this is as of March 22nd. Then we've got another more updated one, but now we know how big the bank run actually is. As of March 22nd, 300 billion, aka 2% of the total deposits had left banks since the start of the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank on March 8th. So within basically 2 weeks, a little bit more, $300 billion was removed from that bank. Around 10% of that has gone into Bitcoin and will continue to go into Bitcoin, rightfully so. And we've got this. Oh, hold on. We got this one here.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Since the recent high, total deposits at U.S. banks are down a record $1 trillion. Where did the money go? A lot went into money market funds, which just hit a record high. And who wants to make 0.3% with a bank account when you can make 5% with a money market fund? So
Yes.
$1 trillion just flying out of the banks into random different places. That's what we were talking about. Is it going into gold? Some of it's going into, looks like a lot of it's going into money market accounts. Some of it's definitely is going into Bitcoin. But it was definitely another canary in the coal mine type of scenario where people are like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. I need to get my funds out. I need to cover my money, make sure it's good. And this is just life advice from Lark Davis. This is about Bitcoin, I guess, but realistically, it's just something we should all remind ourselves often. There's no such thing as perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. It only exists in a vacuum or in a hypothetical utopian type scenario. But if you need to aim for good, you need to get started and take action, make progress daily. So I think
Perfect exists.
Hey.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Like I said, only in a fictional reality in somebody's mind.
Whatever.
And maybe in BJ's mind, perfect does exist, and it does, but you don't want to go inside BJ's mind.
Very dark.
No, I just saw this, and like I said, it's pretty. Yes, it's true for Bitcoin. It just block after block, next block, TikTok, whatever it is. It's growing. The network's getting better. It's getting more robust. Attacks are good for it. But it's another good thing to remember in life as well. Like you don't have to. If you're trying to learn about crypto, you don't have to learn it all overnight. You just learn more tomorrow than you did today. You just say, look, I'm going to take it one step at a time. I'm going to take progress, not perfection, is something I say all the time. You want to be slowly improving in areas that are important to you, that you value, and you're making progress and taking steps towards your goals. You don't want to be too overwhelmed with, oh man, that sounds way too hard, or I'm never going to be perfect, so I should never start. You know, trial and error is the best way to learn the fastest. Is something.
You know, the worst part about being perfect?
What's that?
You're done evolving and learning.
That's true. There's no upside. There's no point. There's no meaning in life after that. At that point, like
Perfection is boring.
Perfection is boring. There you go. Because yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, I have a similar theory with people saying, "Oh, reach your full potential." I say that doesn't exist. There is no such thing as your full potential until you're dead, and you never know what your full potential is. All you can do is improve and reach further and higher, and then at some point you will die or you will start receding, and you will know, okay, I had reached my, that was my full potential. But unless you're continually doing and existing and growing, you never really know what that is. So it's kind of a sidebar, but I thought it was good, so I'll retweet it. Good job, Lark.
I always liked my high school. I'm gonna shout out Elliot Galloway, but one of his famous quotes was always be a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
Also with Just Do It, which I'm pretty sure Nike took from him, but that's a whole different story.
Nike took it, huh?
Well, his son Jeff Galloway was one of the guys in the Munich Olympics. And was like one of the early Olympic runners, and
that's crazy.
Elliot Galloway was always saying that, and that's kind of when like a bunch of stuff with Nike started happening around there in the 80s. And
yeah. No, that's good. I mean, Just Do It. It's a very simple, but it's a very powerful slogan. Action. It's an action phrase. You want to take action, and then you will learn from that action. Versus so many people just talk. So many people just think. So few just do. And so if you can just do it, I promise you, your life will be better. I mean, so any motivational guru or whatever it is, whether you're Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or what's the Tony Robbins or all the ones before him. What's the other guy? Jim Rohn. All is it Jim Rohn? Maybe that's the ESPN guy. There's
Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers on there.
Yeah, Earl Nightingale. That's another old one. But they're all going to tell you pretty much the same thing. Like, look, you're going to be happier, learn more, and get more out of life if you do stuff. If all you do is talk about it and think about it, you're never going to make progress. And it's very similar for crypto. It's very similar for investing, changing your financial future. If you just get involved, read, research, take action, like you can read. And I think it was Deezy talking about this the other day. I don't know if it was on the morning stream or not. You can read about doing a decentralized app swap, doing a swap between two different tokens or two different chains. You can read about that all you want. You do it, you're going to have a much better understanding of what it is, how it works, and how simple. Like, it's going to sound complicated when you read it. When you do it, you're going to be like, oh, that wasn't that hard. I can do that. And that's been my experience.
I'm going to tangent because I do. Ooh. So Commander Crunk.
I got distracted by Rug Gangs.
Talking about 2-year bonds are 4%. ETH staking is 4.3%. Here's something, I'm not saying you missed this, but a lot of people who are in traditional finance miss this. So you might be getting 4% of the USD, which is going to go down and deflate, versus the 4.36% of Ethereum, which is probably going to go down and deflate. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Is an asset that has a potential upside.
Yep. Yeah.
So even if that ETH staking was only giving you 1%, you're getting 1% of an asset that's going to be worth more than the dollar.
100%.
That's just how that is. And that's, I think, I see a lot of people miss, like when people are investing and like 401ks and everything else. They're just like, yeah, but like I'm making 8% a year. You're like, well, you're behind inflation. So those are things to actually look at and are extremely relevant.
100%.
Yep. Chemistry 100%. Bro, the way you that typo there cracked me up. He said just start, and then he said starting is the hardest part, just strat, and he had a typo on start. He's like, start. Hey, I got it. I understood.
And then Rug Gang, if you want to mess with some stuff, try DL phenylalanine and L-theanine. Just ways to help with ADD.
Yeah, no lunch today, guys. You guys were wondering where my lunch is. I don't have any lunch today.
It's been a fast moving morning.
What's that?
It's been a fast moving day.
I went to the fridge and opened the drawer. I was like, oh, I'm out of lunches.
But we got yogurt now. I'm excited.
What does that tell you? Look, if you're trading Rug Gang, you said you were trading a small sedan based on what I'm eating every day. So I don't know what that tells you. If I'm not eating, that's probably, is that bearish or is it bullish?
I think that's bullish.
Means I'm buying. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're busy.
I usually tell you guys when I buy, but I bought a lot when we were under 20K, and I haven't really bought since then much.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, speaking about getting rich, let's have a fun conversation. So can't wait for the time in the market where we all sit in chat rooms in disbelief about how much everyone is printing and cheering everything on. This is by far the most fun part of the cycle. It doesn't last as long as we'd all like. But let's have some fun. Let's talk about a little hopium here. Let's see.
Hopium, like DZ's hairline asks, do you guys still run a staking node? Yes, and we are above. Well, both of them are above the network average.
You're killing it.
Keep in mind that network average, Cardano does do a halvening cycle like Bitcoin. However, unlike Bitcoin, it is not done on a fixed block. It is done over that 4-year period of time, so it is constantly happening. If you go to a website known as pooltool.io, you can actually see where the network average is, which for the most part, most pools are sitting between 3.16 and 3.68%. Some are a little higher, some are a little lower. But what I tell everyone is don't chase ROS, so return on stake, because some are going to be lower, some are going to be higher. You're going to average out. That's just how the network works.
Basically, when you say don't chase it, don't jump from pool to pool trying to get the highest one.
Because people will be like,
oh,
I just hit 1 point something. This one just hit 6. Guarantee that pool that just hit 6%, it had massive luck and is going to have a downside afterwards. But
it
again,
adjusts.
It averages out.
It does. So what? I'm not looking at.
Oh God, we're not looking at anything.
No, I'm just clicking around. But I want to know, like, okay, so we're sitting here 2024, 2025. You know, or let's say we're in 2025. You know, euphoric bull market pumped. All of our bags made crazy gains. Say your entire portfolio. Let's call it. Oh God, I mean, it's just crazy to think about.
We're buying R30. Are we buying R33s or R34s? Or have you seen the original one, the first one from like 1967?
Oh, yeah.
The first GTR.
The new one that they came out is the 34?
36.
36.
You have a 35.
I have a 35, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He'll eventually know what he drives.
Yeah. No, I know I have a 35. I know that much. Actually, sad story, guys. I had a little bumper on it, but I don't know if you guys saw it today. But
What'd you do?
Just backed into like a little thing, and it's an easy fix, but it looks worse than it was. And of course, nothing, no mark, no dent, no scratch or anything for them. But definitely you'll have to see it. They definitely have to replace at least a piece of carbon fiber, which is never fun.
Anyway, so
but yeah, like bull market, what are some of your bull market goals? What are you like like say everything hits? I know, Drew, you're working towards some specific thing. Oh man, you got a lot of opinions in there. But, Hannah, like say we hit bull market, we're all happy, everybody's high five. Are you buying a car? Are you paying off some debt? Are you what do you do? Are you still saving? Are you investing in a house? Are you buying a pickleball team? Like I don't know. What? Any ideas? Any thoughts?
I'm going towards the house for sure.
Nice.
So I got to get that down first.
There you go. That's good. Step one. Drew?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to finish. I have a small amount on my house loan to finish off with, and then I plan to buy about like 20 to 40 acres, enough area for basically me to build 2 or 3 homes, and basically just I want to have a compound basically available for my children so that they can have homes to live in and not be stuck in a permanent renters class 20 or 30 years from now. So basically, if I just redo and buy new vehicles, redo the fleet of vehicles, and then buy enough land to begin the construction for my own children and an infrastructure of gardening well beyond the garden and area that I have right now, I think is going to be really important. Plus adding sheep and cows onto it and letting my chickens just reproduce willy-nilly is kind of the goal for me right now. My neighbors are getting a little upset with me because my chickens are jacking up their lawn. So,
how does that work? Like chickens, they just tear up. They're just always picking at stuff.
I have a really violent rooster, and every time my neighbor,
you didn't see the video of him chasing the FedEx
guy? So my neighbor, he gets into his car, he gets chased into his vehicle by my rooster right now. So I need to kind of fix that, and basically I just want to have an open area like 20 or 30 or maybe even 40 acres in my area is pretty obtainable, where the chickens can just do their thing and, reproduce really heavily. I'll be able to harvest them as I need. So yeah, I'm just building out a huge infrastructure of food production and living space for my children. That's really what I'm doing.
So you're just building out your own sovereign compound.
Yeah, basically. Absolutely. Like, it's, becoming ungovernable is kind of my goal. So you can include a moat. A moat. And,
dang. I'll put some sharks or some alligators or something in there.
We're in the South, so
they can survive.
Yeah, I think they could do pretty well out here. And then, and they're
delicious.
There's a lot of, I'm a prepper.
What do you feed an alligator?
Chickens.
Chicken, yeah.
Hey, self-sustaining.
Yeah, there's so I don't know. That's kind of my goal, becoming ungovernable to the best degree that I can. Not having a house note that any banks can levy against me.
Love it.
That's the main thing that I'm doing right now. So.
BJ, what about you?
Hopefully hang out with chemistry bro. But yeah, I just want to keep pushing this product development stuff that I've talked to you about and doing, I guess, literally like inventions. I've got a bunch of self-sustaining models that I've been working on, and then music products and a bunch of other stuff. And, obviously I always want to work here because I love this place, but I would like to kind of eventually get my degree so I can call myself Dr. Ogden.
Ooh.
But
sounds cool. I call him that anyway.
Probably not actually practice in the United States, but the more that I can bring for educating people and using what is here at Hit Network to educate and kind of spread the good word, the better, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
So we need the nerdy specialist in here. So
We do.
Yeah, investing in yourself and all your ideas, all your thoughts and inventions.
And probably a few more bases.
Few more bases. Yeah, you never have enough bases.
And
you gotta get some bass amps. You gotta get some pedals.
E28 BMW.
Let's see what.
It should be the mid 80s 5 Series.
E28. You said?
Yeah, I think it was the first M5 that they did. It's sexy. Because I can't afford that. What is it? The 6 Series CLS, whatever they made, which was ridiculous.
Let's see if we can find it.
But it's pretty.
You can't afford it.
Like this guy.
I mean,
here?
maybe like these. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That is just murdered
It
out.
looks pretty cool.
Slam it with the BBS
It's
wheels.
got nice lines.
It's so
Yeah, that
hot.
looks pretty sick.
It's so
Not gonna
hot.
lie, I like that.
Oh,
My car pick is so lame compared to this. I just want a new Sequoia and then a new Sienna.
I'm putting you on you need like a 70s chromed out like classic truck.
I built a 71 Chevy K10, the 4x4 C10 version, 1971, and I just got tired of changing out fuel pumps and changing out radiators. And I bored it out to 370. It was pushing 500 horsepower to the wheels. It was super sexy to drive around town. People got offended when I was pulling up next to it, but then I just kind of ran out of energy redoing the parts to it. It taught me a lot redoing the parts, but I'm a Toyota maximalist to the day I die.
I mean, they make great vehicles.
Yeah.
Isn't his actual name Toyota?
It may have been. It may have been. I don't know.
That's
the
not a
history.
troll. I think they changed it to Top.
I think
but it
actually
is
you're
Da,
correct. Yes, they changed it to Toyota.
which I can write in hiragana now, but not katakana.
Always makes me think of everybody used to always change the old Toyota trucks.
Yeah.
Say take the letters on like toy, yo,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Classic
Wasn't
Toy
it
Story.
on Toy Story? Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna just hit this real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up with another altcoin pick for you guys. But this just blew my eyes. Should have shocked me, but I was shocked, but at the same time, it actually is pretty much par for the course. So, kind of like Wendy was talking about earlier, how we don't ever find out about this stuff until after the fact, or like the details are much more opaque than reality, than what we're learning in real time. But basically, 2 weeks ago, FDIC appointed a new CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, encouraged customers publicly to return their funds to the bank with zero caveats, implying all funds are fully protected. So if you just withdrew your money because you were afraid, you need to redeposit it right now because there's nothing to be afraid of. You're going to get all your money. Please
safe.
Say you're scared without saying you're scared.
Exactly. Then today, the FDIC emailed all the clients of that bank to tell them that the funds held in non-US euro dollar accounts, including those funds that had been returned to the bank after the CEO requested customers return the funds to the bank, are safe, or they're now in receivership. So good luck getting that money back because it's gonna get paid out to other people first. So
God,
yeah, I just figured I'd mention that before we went to it.
Bullish.
I mean, that
Bullish,
is
bullish for Bitcoin.
what a rug pull on just regular society. You just train them and talk to them that this is how things are done, and then all of a sudden your funds are no longer yours. We need that fund to fix the people ahead of you and that have already stacked
Let's
millions.
just become Pavlovian puppets.
Jeez.
That's our new metal band, by the way.
Pavlovian puppets. I actually like that. You gotta have a guy. You have to have a guy playing the triangle in the back, just like.
You mean you?
Yeah,
We're auditioning later.
I'll do it for sure. I'm in. I'll be the triangle guy. Just leave that one alone. All right. All right. So if you guys missed the ARB airdrop, then StarkNet is the next big airdrop opportunity. I've probably mentioned it on here before. Kind of like ZK Sync as well. On-chain activities. Have you been messing with this one, Drew, or mostly Johnny?
No, it's mostly Johnny. I haven't gotten into StarkNet yet. I'm still messing around with Sui, the base chain that they're doing.
Yeah.
And then I was going to get into ZK Sync. I got like 9 months to get into ZK Sync.
What's your Twitter, Drew?
At Drew Weidert, Weidert.
Yes.
Just my first and last name.
There you go. So here's 7 real quick. I'm just going to blaze through these 7 projects to interact with to maximize your chances of a Stark airdrop. Let's see. StarkNet it's a decentralized ZK rollup created with the goal of addressing Ethereum scalability issues. Again, just like a lot of the other ones out there right now. You're not trying to pick the winner. You're trying to hold some of the winner. You know, there's going to be a lot that try, a lot that fail. So you want to have a little bit of all of them, not all in on one of them, in my opinion. Let's see. StarkNet has been valued at $8 billion and has already created the Stark token. They recently raised over $100 million in funding, which could make this airdrop one of the biggest ones to date. Our airdrop had specific qualifications needed to receive it. Therefore, we should aim to emulate similar activity to ensure we maximize our odds. And now, again, there's no real connection saying like the requirements that the ARB team has are going to be the same as the StarkNet team. You're just banking on the fact that these are the metrics that they know they need to drive a project. So likely if you're doing all these things, you're going to be, your odds go way up for being included in the airdrop. So let's see if I can, I guess I won't make this big. So qualifying actions. This was for Arbitrum. Bridge funds into Arbitrum 1. Conducted transactions during 2 distinct months. Conducted transactions during 6 distinct months. Conducted transactions during 9 months. Again, so basically transactions over time, not just going in, doing a bunch, and then walking away and getting the airdrop. You're continually interacting with the network. Conducted more than 10 transactions or interacted with more than 10 different smart contracts. Same for 4 different smart contracts, 25 different smart contracts, 100 different smart contracts. Conducted transactions exceeding an aggregate value of $10,000. Okay, so big transactions matter, some volume. This will put the volume, push the volume up. This will push the transactions up. This will push the daily active users up. So if you're looking, like, that's what they're trying to do. And then bridge more than 10,000, 50,000, 250,000 into Arbitrum 1. So I mean, that's more or less, now you know the key features they're trying to hit. So if you can do that on this network, create a wallet, so this is going to give you the step-by-step guide on how to do it. Again, I'm not endorsing necessarily any of these wallets. I haven't tested this yet. So, this is just, I'm just putting it top of mind for your own information. Take it at your own risk. Gives you notes on how to bridge to StarkNet, how to do some of these swaps. So there you go. There's that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Arbitrum.
That's what we got to
still like it. We didn't really get into the drama yesterday of the Arbitrum stuff too much.
Yeah.
To me, it's not that big of a deal. Like it's another negative shot when it comes to DAOs and decentralization. I don't think things are nearly as decentralized as they want you to believe, which is obviously was on display was what we just saw with Arbitrum. That being said, I do still think it's got a pretty good chance to compete well and perform well in the next bull market. So I'm just taking this as an opportunity to buy some of the dip and not getting too stressed about the details of it. Now, that being said, do I want all of my savings to be in Arbitrum? No. Do I trust the team behind Arbitrum? No, not necessarily. Yeah. Do I think that they're doing the best that they can? Most likely. And that can be said for a lot of different teams out there with the way they manage funds, the way they manage the foundation or the treasury or all these different things. So I think they're doing, I think it's going to perform well. And so that's why I'm going to hold some. Yeah, but you guys do what you want. What
Wendy said about the airdrop stuff too, and like I'm in these, Sui and base, and I'm not in there just expecting this return and I'm interacting, so I'm guaranteed an airdrop, and I'm going to yell on Twitter if I don't get it. Like that was super ugly to see people that were like very upset about not getting an airdrop for being involved with it for a month before it deployed. Like, I mean, this thing's been tested for like a year. There's people talking about it and on the inside going through the process themselves. You're in there just to test and be a part of a community that's showing that it's working. And if you get something out of it, great. But don't go in there and just like expect it and have these demands after the fact. It's really not a good look.
I agree.
Yeah. Very sad.
I thought you were about to say. So he took a deep breath, like he was about to say something. So.
Oh no! I mean, I'll deep breath. I did want to give a shout out to Sparkathor for having a super sweet E36 M3.
Oh man, I love it.
Which my car is
M3's
like a modernized version of that.
I had a
So they say the M235i is like the modern version of
E36 M3. I might have had
that.
it.
You know what it is?
It was what that would have been like
It's
a 90.
The gen of your mom's, not the Z, the convertible.
Yeah, but it would have been like a 96, 97. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
that's E36 era, and then E46 right
Yeah,
after.
I had an E36 M, like a 97 E36 M3 2-door. I don't know if they made the 4 doors back then.
I don't
know if they, but yeah, it was
think so.
one of my favorite. It was until the car I have right now. It was my favorite car
so
I've had
sick.
all time.
Yeah,
It's a great car.
E36, 46, and then yeah, the E90s did some sweet stuff. The F80s, the F22s. There's so many good ones.
Sounds good. So all right, that's all we have time
Yeah.
for today. We've got some more. Got some more stuff to get into tomorrow. We'll get into a couple more picks and things like that. So shout out to all of you guys. I think Joel is streaming. Oh, real quick,
And Mike says DXY is dumping.
DXY is dumping.
Oh,
if you guys like gaming at all, any way, shape, or form, if you ever played a video game in your life and you think you would maybe watch a little bit of video game content, go subscribe right now to Hit Network Gaming. We're very close to getting them to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal. So if you guys could do that, we'd really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Shout out to all you guys: Crypto Stevo, Mike Volmer, Dave Digital, Not So Pro Marco, Ray and San Miguel, Super Trucker Ryan, Crypto Cody 88, Casino Doggy, Dave Digital, Crimson Caravan Company, Corey Harden, Manawalk, Rug Game, Poohin 78 Div, Dave Digital, Clarserlit, Ralphie, Roy, Razmataz, Dude Was Mine, Sabby, My King. We love all of you guys. Goodbye.